Not that I don't like you, I'm just at a party. And I am sick and tired of my phone re-ringing. Hello there. There are a ton of videos on YouTube about rich people trying to stay or be relatable. Everyone's answering why they're not relatable. But no one's answering whether or not they can be relatable. But if you're watching this video, that means that somebody on YouTube actually answered this question. First, let's define relatability. According to Cambridge Dictionary, relatability is the quality of being easy to understand or feel sympathy for. There are many different levels of wealth worldwide. Being poor in the US is a different thing than being poor in South Sudan. So, to spare a lot of trouble, we're going to focus on the US. American people said that in order for someone to be considered rich in the US, they need a net worth of at least $2.3 million. This was obtained from a poll taken by 1,000 different Americans. When it comes to relatability, perception is everything since relatability comes from sympathy. You can't sympathize with someone if you can't see where they're coming from or perceive them on a different level than you. The vast majority of people don't even have $1 million, so there's already a huge gap where the majority is below the line and the minority is above it. This means that rich Americans have lower relatability because the average American doesn't understand them and thus can't sympathize with them. A lot of rich people, especially online, portray lives that not even the most upper middle class of people can dream of. Buying Louis Vuitton every week, driving your jet ski in your infinity pool that's behind your mansion, and having golden spoons. Heck, sometimes I can only afford the plastic ones. If most of us spend our money like that, we'd end up in the street, so we clearly can't relate. Is not being relatable to most people a bad thing? In some aspects, no. There are millions of people who love to see other people buy expensive stuff and try them. And it could be enjoyable to see a virtual tour of a mansion most of us will never own. However, some aspects of not being relatable can be bad. The cons of being unrelatable greatly outweigh the pros, so we'll spend more time on those. Unrelatability can disconnect people from the problems of the real world and make them more egocentric. That is, not being able to see the world in a perspective other than their own. An example of this was the Ace family when they quote-unquote worked at their friend's restaurant for like 2 hours. They kept saying how working there was so much fun, which it is if you don't have to work there every day for minimum wage to survive because you exploit your children on YouTube. Austin even forgot he's not the god of the universe when he tried to eat food from his quote-unquote job's kitchen without paying before the 2 hours were even up. Unrelatability can also turn away viewers that like to project themselves onto the content that they watch. So, that's why relatability is so valuable and why many rich people try and fail. But, so far we've only talked about relatability in terms of economics. Is there another way that rich people can achieve relatability, and more importantly, can they really achieve it? Another way someone can achieve relatability is through what all human beings, rich or poor, have: emotions. But when they say that their lives are more difficult than, say, those of African kids that starve every day, they look egocentric. That's why you can feel for a rich kid crying over his parents' divorce, whether or not he's in his mansion, and whether or not your parents are divorced. However, it doesn't matter how many emotions they feel or portray if these emotions are blown out of proportion. I'm not saying that rich people don't have problems or that the problems aren't important. So I do believe that rich people can be relatable. Sympathy is very different from empathy. With empathy, you can feel for someone because you can put yourself in their shoes. With sympathy, you can feel with someone without being in their shoes. Even poor people in the US who say that they have lives that are more difficult than starving African children look egocentric, so why shouldn't we apply this to rich people? However, even if they aren't blowing their problems out of proportions, their emotions have to be genuine. Wouldn't it be weird if Bill Gates tweeted, "Ugh, I hate it when I don't have enough money to pay the rent"? Although that is a problem many people can relate to, it doesn't seem genuine of Bill Gates to say this. He clearly has enough money to pay the rent, so there's no logical explanation for him to tweet that other than he's either trying to relate to us or he wants to hoard his money and wants us to be aware of that. Being genuine is where most rich influencers fall flat when they try to be relatable. If they just stuck to being truthful about their feelings and truly understanding the perspective of most of their viewers, then they'd probably be more relatable than when they try to lie their way into being like the rest of us. However, most of these out-of-touch rich people will never stop. Can we, the common men and women, stop this phenomenon? Of course we can. Of course we can. Do you know how the peasants in France overthrew the elite during the French Revolution? By realizing that there were more of them than there were elites and using that to their advantage. Then the Reign of Terror happened, but that's not the point. The point is that we, the common people, are the majority, and the more we call out the fake, wanna be relatable rich people, the less they'll try to pull the same act. We vote with our perceptions. Do you think there will be any more celebrities sing Imagine anytime soon?
No.
No, because despite CBS labeling this a movie montage, we all know that it's a cringe fest, and all the celebrities in it got a ton of backlash. Getting shot is the second worst thing to happen to John Lennon now. It honestly feels like they're mocking us. This is worse than YouTube Rewind. Let's sing Imagine. What key? Celebrities? Yes. The loss of touch with reality really shines through in this video, where one of the lyrics is, "Imagine no possessions," and is sung by millionaires. They say that any publicity is good publicity, but what you put in is still what you get out.
Yeah!
Unrelatable rich people might get to the top, but they will be forgotten until they pull off another cringe fest. Is the anxiety of having to pull off shenanigans after shenanigans really worth the millions of dollars?
I mean...
I don't know, man. I'm still at LOL levels of poor next to your mom, so I wouldn't know. Ultimately, rich people's relatability depends on how genuine they're being. Which is interesting, because in order to be truly genuine, they have to be genuine because they want to be, not to make more money or harvest a larger audience. No one likes a fake. When rich people act poor to relate to average people, they create a feeling equivalent to the feeling "Hello, fellow kids" moments in teen movies create.
When did you get the boobs? When you're away at football, can't learn to be a better douche.
How do you do, fellow kids?
They try to close the gap between us with facade, only to make that gap even bigger. However, whether rich or poor, I believe everyone should try to be as genuine as possible, because truth has a value that money can't match. The more genuine we are, the more we can try to understand each other. And the more we understand each other, the more we can connect and stand together as human beings. And that's key. Fitting, considering how that's the key to relatability. And the celebrities in the Imagine video were singing in different keys. Relatability should not be a box that is constantly tried to be ticked or a means to gain more wealth and followers. In this context, it should be something used to strengthen the connection between an entertainer and an audience. If that's the intent, then anyone can have relatability, because no matter how different we are, we're all still human. Shout out to Tom for commenting on my last video. Thank you for commenting, Tom. You're awesome. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to answer the question at the beginning of the video for a chance to be featured in a future video. If you think I'm still talking, to hit the 10-minute mark, I mean, you're not wrong. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and...
Hit that little